guilt-edged, heart-wrenching, harrowing movie to start the year. We are talking about Spain's submission for the Academy Awards, Society of the Snow. 117 passengers aboard a small plane from Uruguay to Chile have their lives changed forever as the plane crashes into the austere and cold Andes desert, killing a significant number upon impact, while the rest suffered from either physical injuries or rising pain, plus the hunger and despair of waiting for a hopeful rescue. This was inspired by true life events and brought to life by the actors and the producers. This is a story of brotherhood, sacrifice, endurance, horror, and triumph. These survivors went from happy holiday travelers to stranded, injured, lost, and terrified from a plane crash. They had to dig in deep and hold fast to their sense of community and brotherhood, as well as inversely go against their core values, morals, religion, and ethics for over 2 months in the middle of nowhere in a place that wanted them dead. This movie once again cemented why I love Spanish movies that deal with crazy concepts like this, from The Platform to The Invisible Guest, even to Money Heist. There is a special and clever way they use in filming their movies that somehow captures the romance of reality in a way that Hollywood movies often fail to do. So when they make movies like this, they go all out in giving these characters and stories gravity and intensity. For Society of the Snow, it was no different. The characters had a solid feel, the dialogue and setting were all in line from the beginning to the end. The way the tone changed gradually from happy and upbeat before and during the journey, then switching to some measure of apprehension as the plane encountered turbulence, then to the terror of crashing abruptly, the deaths and injuries was as good as it could be. Reality changes in a minute. One moment they are happy flying to Chile, the next they are waking up to see their friends dead, dying or injured. Their lives are disrupted in a most cruel way, and soon they come to the realization that this bleak environment might be home for an unforeseen future. It is a story about brotherhood, perseverance, and unrivaled will. These guys did everything possible to stay sane and not lose their humanity despite the horror of their situation. They told jokes, poetry, rationed food, and repaired the radio, trying any means possible to protect their sanity and press on no matter what. When the topic of eating the bodies came up, you could see the varying reactions and thought processes. Some had rationalized the entire situation and the looming solution, while others, such as Numa, it was difficult and too soon to confront the reality of having to eat a human body. As things grew stark after days and weeks, with so many deaths, you could see the thoughts change as these men came to terms with their situation and even gave permission to the others to eat their bodies if that would ensure the group's continued survival. These people went there as friends. There was no underlying antagonism that you could say, okay, they were all cool with someone dying, but they went there as friends, literally on a holiday trip to Chile, and all of a sudden now you need someone to die, but you want no one to die because if they do, you have to eat them. Now, if you've seen Moby Dick, which starred Chris Hemsworth, this was what I expected them to depict and examine: the grim reality of day-to-day living, the despair and stark horror of knowing there's nothing you can do and there's no one coming to save you, as your people do not even think you are alive anymore. The search party had already been deferred to the next year, January, so the people who are supposed to look for you don't even think you are alive. It was heartbreaking, and it was a miracle he did not break down completely. It brings back memories of William Golding's Lord of the Flies, where a similar situation turned normal kids into savages and criminals. Back to Society of the Snow, they were now in a race against time and a struggle within and against themselves. They had to abandon all belief, their churches, religion, or whatever moral compass they had. It was time to shove it into the dirtiest gutter if they wanted to survive, and that was something they never thought was possible. If they were asked on a normal day, would they eat someone else to survive? They would say never, it's nasty, God forbid, it's immoral, it's irreligious, etc. But now in the thick, dark, grim reality of it, they simply had to do that just to survive. Their lives were broken down to the most cruel and simple form. When to stay alive, they need someone else to die. But then they also want everyone to stay alive, but to stay alive, they need someone to die. It is a crazy dynamic that warps, distorts, and destroys the very fabric of society, friendship, family, and brotherhood. They'd prefer everyone to stay alive, but for you to stay alive, you need someone to die. For you to stay alive, you need something to eat. For you to get something to eat, someone has to die so you can eat the body of the next person. Anyone who goes through this will never ever remain the same. Even if you hated the person, there is a thick, fat border between wishing them death and eating their dead body. Now they were in the thick of the situation, a snowy desert, people dying, there was no one coming until at least the next year, there was no food and no water, their urine had turned to black, their injuries and deaths had worsened, the cold threatened, and their surroundings conspired to do even more mischief. This was the grim, dark, grimy and stark reality of it once again, when the snow avalanche struck the already broken plain, compiling their disaster even further, burying them under thick inches of snow. It further went to show the hopelessness of their situation. They were at the mercy of their surroundings, which could toss and turn any which way it liked without regard for living things in the vicinity. Matter of fact, it was until the snow began to thaw we really saw an animal when the lone bird flew in over their heads. That was a pivotal moment to renew their hopes that the coldest days were over and rescue was possible once again. Now, this is a question to the fans and everyone who's seen this movie. Would you eat someone to survive? You can look at it from afar and say, no, you would never do that. You'd rather die. But then when you are in this kind of situation where the only way to stay alive to eat, the only thing to eat is a dead body, you do not want to eat a dead body. That could be a friend, a husband, sister, brother, wife, or child, or just for the general principle of human behavior. But in the end, you still need to do it. That situation broke down life to its most simple form, where humans had to band together regardless of differences to face the ultimate challenge. These were simple yet heavy odds. White or black, life or death, nothing else mattered. Not education, not politics, not sports, just the survival of individuals against human nature. It is eerily similar to war. In the thick of it, staying alive is the only goal, and it could not be done without sacrifice, of which there was an abundance. This was a harrowing and yet inspiring story to begin the year. They took the punches that life threw at them, rolled with it, and dug in deep to find courage and perseverance to go on even in despicable situations, once again underlining the tenacity and determination of human beings to find solutions no matter what. This was a great movie from start to finish. Every character added something special to the story and believability was through the roof. There was no space for doubt or floundering. This was a solid ticket puncher that has captured the month of January and set the tone for movies during the whole year of 2024. This is already a front runner for my movie of the year, and we'll have to see what happens with other movies as the year progresses, but it will take quite a lot to beat Society of the Snow. This is a solid 10 in my book, and so we'll be staying aboard the ship no matter what. This is still the Bootleg Corner. Don't forget to subscribe, put your thoughts in the comment section, keep it locked in, and bye for now.